Hey Golden Rams, it's Dr. Caitlin Cassidy here, coming to you to talk about some skills that you might be able to use to survive stressful times like this pandemic. The first skills I'm going to be talking to you about are called distress tolerance skills. These skills come from dialectical behavior therapy, or DBT, which is a type of therapy that I oftentimes incorporate into my work. When we think about tolerating something or someone, the thing that we're not doing is trying to change that thing or that person. So when we're talking about tolerating distress, we're really talking about what are the things that we can do to survive this distressing moment without making it worse, without digging ourselves into a deeper hole. The reason we use these skills is because we can't always make the thing that's stressing us out go away. Pain is really a part of life, and sometimes that pain can be quite intense, and there's nothing we can do in the immediate moment to solve it. And if that's the case for you during this pandemic, you might want to think about turning toward the distress tolerance skills to help you survive. Without these skills, we can oftentimes become quite impulsive, meaning we might do something that makes our situation worse just because we're so desperate to make ourselves feel better. Things like using substances, drinking, overeating, sending an impulsive text message, starting arguments, things like that that oftentimes feel really good in the immediate moment, but end up making our lives worse. The first skill I want to talk to you about is the stop skill. The stop skill is a skill that helps us take a pause so that we can accurately assess what's going on and then choose a coping skill moving forward that fits the situation. So I want you to imagine a big red stop sign. What do you do when you pull up to a red stop sign? You stop. And back in my day, they would oftentimes tell us to stop and say the word letters S-T-O-P before proceeding. I want you to do the same thing here. This is a 4-step process, and it's based on the letters S-T-O-P. So it's an acronym in this situation. The first step is pretty intuitive. S stands for stop. Don't move a muscle. Don't react. Our emotions oftentimes pull us to act impulsively. And what happens when we act impulsively? We sometimes make the situation worse for ourselves. We do that thing that we know is not going to help us, but it feels so good in the moment. So first thing you want to do, stop. Don't react. Don't move a muscle. Freeze. Then you want to move on to the T, which stands for take a step back. This might be used quite literally, meaning if you're watching TV or you're scrolling social media feed or you're interacting with someone, you physically want to distance yourself from that thing. Turn off your phone, change the channel, take a moment to enter another room and stop the conversation with the person that you're talking to. Taking a step back allows us to move to the next step, which is the O, stands for observe. Observing is really about taking in the facts of the situation. What is happening externally? What is happening inside your skin? What are you feeling like? What are you thinking? What are the things in your environment that are triggering you? And you want to do this in a way that's very non-judgmental. And what I mean by that is you really want to stick to just the facts. I'll give you an example. If I'm watching TV and I'm watching a news report, I might start to get really anxious with respect to COVID. I might start thinking a lot of what ifs. What if I get sick? What if someone else in my family gets sick? What if they don't have enough ventilators? Right? My mind can take me down this rabbit hole, and that's not effective. Observing is not necessarily about coming into closer contact with those worry thoughts, but it's really about observing what are the facts of the situation. What is the intensity of my emotion? What are the things that are triggering me? And what are the facts that I know? Not. Once we do that, we have an accurate feel for the situation, then we can move to the P, which stands for proceed mindfully. Proceeding mindfully is really just about doing what's needed in the moment. Given the facts of the situation, what is called for? This might mean taking a longer break from something. This might mean doing nothing. It might also mean using another skill. And if you're unsure about what other skills you can use, fear not. Stay tuned because I'm going to be putting up some other videos about skills that we can use during this and other stressful times.